and of His forgiveness. He had locked up Shaitan so that we can have the ease of mind and soul to be able to participate into the worship, into asking for forgiveness, into asking for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help in our endeavors in the rest of the year, and to be a thankful slave. After the 30 days, we stand together as individuals who have shown that they have the power of control to be able to abide by the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every day for 18 or 19 hours, that the law of Allah rules supreme over our souls, that we were thirsty, we were hungry, we wanted to do the things that our hearts desired, but the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rules supreme over our souls, and we refrain from all of those things that would have made our fast invalid. It is truly a success for an individual who have done that, and when you are successful, you celebrate. You celebrate your success, you celebrate your victory over your own lowly desires. And the actual day in which a person does not commit the atrocities and sins is the day that Imam Ali has said to be Eid. If for us the fasting was the only thing that we were concerned about, whereas we refrain from the things that would have invalidated our fast, but if we committed sins, if we did ghibah, if we lied, if we broke the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then after 30 days, this day is not a day of celebration. In actuality, it is a day to have the remorse inside of our hearts that when the doors of special mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was open, we did not have enough strength not to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And with that remorse and regret, we make a conviction inside of our hearts that for the rest of the days that are going to be, we're going to try our very best that we do not commit those mistakes and those sins that we ended up committing in the holiest of holy month. My brothers and sisters, Eid is a day to rejoice, or a day without the Imam of our time being in front of us. This is his day. Today is Friday. He should have been here. He should have been the one leading these prayers. It should not have been I. And this prayer would have been an obligation on every single Muslim. If we continue in the fashion that we are continuing, we will see many Eids, but we will not see the appearance of our Imam. I request to you, as a humble servant, as a little brother, I request to you that, please, for the sake of Allah, for the sake of everything that is holy, do not let the next Eid be without Imam. If you do all that is required in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, next year it will not be a day that we will be reading and praying this alone. We will have the Imam of our time with us. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal-'asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم ومحمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
صل وسلم على أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب وعلى فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين وعلى الحسن والحسين وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد بن موسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن القائم المهدي عجل الله تعالى في فرجه الشريف وجعل الله تعالى من عوامه ومساعده ومستشرين بين الولاد. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. If you were to turn back the clocks about 1400 years, you would have been standing in front of Imam Ali. You would have been in front of him and he would have delivered the khutbah for you. In his words, Imam said in his khutbah that he would recite for Eid is that you who have gathered, think of yourselves to be in the day of judgment. Right now you stand in front of Allah and He is going to be your judge. He is going to judge you, and after the judgment, imagine when you are going home, whether you are going to be going to heaven or you are going to hell. The person's consciousness is the best judge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. I would like for all of us to have that judge give a verdict. मैं चाहूँगा कि हम सब जो हैं, हमारा जो ज़मीर है, उस ज़मीर से आज हम एक जजमेंट ले लें. हर इंसान को पता है कि उसने क्या किया है. हर इंसान को पता है उसने क्या अच्छे अमाल अंजाम दिए और क्या बुरे. Everyone knows what they have done, good and bad. I ask myself and to you to make that consciousness, to make that conscious as your judge. And through that judgment, decide whether today, when you are going home, are you going to go to hell or are you going to go to heaven? If it is that our conscience decides and gives the statement, the sentence, that we are going to go to hell, then be reminded that you still have the opportunity. You can still reverse that judgment. You can ask for forgiveness. You can make the things right which have gone wrong inside of you. And if your conscience decides and makes the judgment that you are a person of heaven, then thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the mercy that He has bestowed upon you. We all are one body. If on the body there is pain in any of the parts of it, the whole body suffers. If a needle goes in your foot, that pain is going to go through whole of your body, and it's only a needle. We have our few months old brothers whose bodies get picked up by the fathers on the streets. They're blown up, and then the father and the uncles and the cousins have to collect those pieces to bring it to the mother who lost her child. We have our sisters whose honor is taken on daily basis. And these sisters of ours, they have to show their face to their fathers and to their brothers. We have our elders who, being weak, are punished for crimes that they have not committed. We have our brothers who in front of their young children are dragged out from their houses and arrested for no crimes. Our holy lands are not holy to anyone anymore. These lands are bombarded. The people who are living around those holy places are suffering. In Pakistan, there was a news clipping that showed a mother standing with her daughter with a sign saying, "You can buy my daughter for 45,000 rupees." At the corner of the street, she stood trying to sell her daughter so that the price that would be paid for her daughter, with that money she would be able to feed the other kids who would die otherwise. One of the brothers saw that clipping and he said that I need to investigate, I need to find out whether this is actually true. He went to the same neighborhood and he found out that it was actually true. The mother who stood there with the sign lived on the top of a house which had no roof. And the individuals who were the neighbors did not know that there were individuals living on top of the roof without having any shelter from sun or rain. We are not naive. We are not naive. It is not that we do not know what is going around in the world. We have poverty. We have dishonor. We have disunity. We have weakness. Our Islam, our ideology is being trampled by the individuals who call themselves as Muslims. Our state that we are in, there are not reasons that I can find for this day for me to celebrate. I cannot find any reasons. If I was to find one reason, I would tell you. Just because of the fact that my family and my kids are safe, but the other parts of the body that I'm supposed to be part of are being torn, destroyed, massacred, blown up, is not to celebrate. If my house is protected, but the house of my other brothers and sisters are not protected, is not something to be celebrated. Either we should stop saying that we are part of one body, या तो ये कह दें कि रसूल ने जो कहा है ये सही नहीं है. Either say that, or if you're not going to say it, then show that you are part of one body. Then show that you have the love and care for each other in such a manner that if there is pain in any part of the world, You feel it. Do we have things to celebrate? If you just look at our own selves as a community, forget about as a nation, as a ummah. We have insulted each other. We have lied to each other. We have kept our ego so strong that they have divided us, although we are few. We decide on daily basis to do those actions that are going to divide us further rather than uniting us. The resources that we have are being segregated into pieces that cannot be justified by common sense. Yet we are okay. Imam Ali in his government brought his generals, his leaders all at one place. And he said, today an atrocity has been committed. And the atrocity is such that once I tell you, if you were to cry, and if you were to have a nervous breakdown, and you were to die on the spot, you would have died on the truth. वो शख्स हक की मौत मरा होगा. Imam said that in our government, a Jewish lady, from her feet, jewelry was taken by force. एक यहूदन के पांव से पायल को चोरी किया गया. Imam said that this act, this atrocity is so grave that by having this grief inside of you, if you were to die, you've died on truth. I have mentioned to you atrocities that are committed to our own Muslim brothers and sisters, yet we do not have a nervous breakdown. Yet tears do not come out of our eyes, yet we are not saddened by their state, just because of the fact that we're okay. You're supposed to become a nation that becomes a role model for the rest of the nation. You are supposed to be the ones who should be protecting the rights of any human being who is being oppressed. Any human being who is being oppressed is the right of the Muslim Ummah to do Amr bil Maruf wa Nahy anil Munkar. If there are Jews being oppressed, it is our right. If there are Christians being oppressed, it is our right. If there are Hindus, Sikhs, even to the point if there are atheists that are being oppressed, it is the right of the nation of the Prophet. That the nation of the Prophet should be the one standing up for their rights. They should be the ones saying what you are doing is wrong and this is what you need to do right. It is your right. Today, I know of a center where people fought and the police was called. And after the police was called, the constable was a lady, the Christian. She walked into the Husainiya and she said to the Shias of Imam Ali, she said, you should not fight here. This is a place of worship. आपको हुसैनिया के अंदर, इमामबारगाह के अंदर लड़ना नहीं चाहिए. ये हुसैनिया, ये इमामबारगाह इबादतगाह है. इबादतगाह के अंदर लोग लड़ते नहीं हैं, इबादत करते हैं. एक ईसाई औरत ने अमर बिल मारूफ व नही अनिल मुनकर किया. उन लोगों को जो अपने आप को इमाम अली का शिया कहते हैं, The right is yours to tell the world what is right and what is wrong. Not for children, not for others, individuals. To tell you what is wrong and to tell you what is right. Remember, we are all being judged. And no one has the guarantee that they are going to go to heaven. No one has the guarantee. Neither I, neither you. If we do not have the guarantee that whether we are going to go to heaven or hell, is this not a place to be afraid? Is this not a place to look inside and see what has gone wrong so we can correct it before we die? Have animosity against the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and have love for the ones who are friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is your whole religion. A person came, he said, I do not want to have a long sermon to the Prophet. I don't want to have a long sermon. I am just here to find out what is Islam and I want you to tell me in one sentence. The Prophet said, Hubbun fillah wa bughdun fillah. Hubbun lillah wa bughdun lillah. To have love in Allah, to show your love from Allah and to show your animosity from Allah. To love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to hate for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the total Islam summarized. Not to hate the individual, but to hate the quality. And if that quality is inside of me, then I should have the same animosity against my own self. I should have hate for lying. I should have hate for backbiting. I should have hate for tale-telling. I should have hate for cowardness. I should have hate for the love of this world. And if those things are present in my own brother or sister or my own self, and I should love generosity, and I should love justice, and I should love forbearance, I should love forgiveness, I should love being together in harmony, in synergy, under one roof, under one law, under one principle. And whoever has it, I should love that person. If we do not love for the sake of Allah, if we do not hate for the sake of Allah, our Islam is in jeopardy. One last thing. Hazrat Musa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him, O Musa, why don't you do something for me? Musa, तुम मेरे लिए कुछ क्यों नहीं करते? Hazrat Musa alayhi salam said, Allah, I have prayed, I have fasted, I remember you, I've given in your way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you did not do this for me. Musa, तुमने ये मेरे लिए नहीं किया. Musa, तुमने नमाज पढ़ी है क्योंकि तुम्हारे अंदर, you have prayed because you are inclined towards me. You want to have a person you can worship. You want to have a being that you can worship. You have fasted because that is the shield for you from the hellfire. You have given in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that I can multiply it for you, whatever you have given. Tell me what you have done for me. And Hazrat Musa alayhi salam says, Oh Allah, I do not know. He said, Musa, for my sake become the enemy of someone, and for my sake become a friend of someone. Because when you will be an enemy of someone for my sake, you will get harmed. But you're only getting this harm because it is for my sake, not for your own sake. Because for your sake, you would have made friends with that enemy. But because you became an enemy of theirs for my sake, and you are not getting any benefit, but you are getting harm, this is what you can do for me. And when you are a friend of someone for my sake, maybe that friend will not return any favors back to you. When you go ask for forgiveness from that friend, maybe they will not forgive you. If you go ask and you help them and then you ask for help in return, they might not help you. But because you loved him for the sake of me, that is truly for my sake. It does not have your own self in it. Become that way. Myself and you, we have a long way to go. We are surrounded by enemies. We are very few. We have very few people that are together for the sake of Bibi Fatima. Become that way so that she can be proud of you. For some of you, she is your mother. The proudest day for a mother is when the son does something that the whole world says, who is he a son of? माँ के लिए फख्र का वो दिन होता है जब उसका बच्चा कोई ऐसा काम करे कि दुनिया पूछे ये किसका बेटा, और जब दुनिया को ये पता लगे कि ये फातिमा है. When the world gets to know that he is the son of Fatima, that is the day to be proud. That is the day of Eid. But if they find out that this is the son of Fatima, who has dishonored all that was precious, mother's heart bleeds. Do not make her heart bleed. Please, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, try your very best to be what you can be, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to do. I know you have the strength, you have the power to do it. Imam Zaman's help is there. Inshallah ta'ala, next year we will see him and we can celebrate this day with things that we can find to celebrate. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we thank you for all the mercy and generosity that you showed to us in the holy month of Ramadan. We were not of the worth for you to do that mercy and generosity, but you did. We thank you for it. Please accept our worships. Please accept our prayers. Please accept our efforts. Those individuals who participated and gave food in the way of Allah and opened the fast of the individuals, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them a good reward. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase in the levels of the martyrs who have given their lives for the sake of Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of our maraji'een and our ulama, wherever they happen to be. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala free all the prisoners who are in the prisons for the wrongs that they have not committed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroy the enemies of Islam who are not able to be guided or who can change themselves. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all that is holy among us, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from all that is unholy outside of us and inside. May we become the slaves and the followers of our Imam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect the leader of the Muslims. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect the Islamic revolution. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be able to see the beauty and the light of that entity, the government of Ahlul Bayt. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the coming of our Imam as soon as possible. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal-Asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.